Good morning, all employers, Taukes, and fellow participants. I'm here to share with you about the enhanced work-life grant. All right, basically today the session is to cover more about what the current situation that we are going through, how MOM and WSG has actually enhanced the current work-life grant to let companies to come on board to claim this grant. All right, this grant is not new. All right, it's been around since 2013, but the current work-life grant was enhanced in 2018, July the 1st. And when it was announced, we actually run it all the while until now. But in view of the current situation that we're going through, the pandemic, the COVID-19 situation, MOM and WSG actually announced some enhancement to the current work-life grant, call it the enhanced work-life grant COVID-19, time limited because it's very short time frame that we're looking at. All right. So the purpose of this grant, or through the enhancement of this grant, is to encourage companies to continue offering companies with work from home and staggered hour arrangements. Basically, we are looking at more companies to allow employees to work from home. All right. To expedite the support, the criteria for WLG has been enhanced so that companies can make it easier and faster for companies to come on board. And the applications has already started. Just take note, apart from E2I, there are two other program partners that are administrating this grant. SNAF, okay, Singapore National Employers Federation, and SMF, Singapore Manufacturing Federation. So three of us are actually managing the current and the enhanced work-life grant. Right, what is in for companies? So as you all know that we are on the mandatory work from home period now because of circuit breaker. It's all the way up to 1st June 2020. Let's keep our fingers crossed that the government will actually lift up this circuit breaker on the 1st June. But it will not be the same anymore because we are looking at different platforms of how they're going to ease companies to go back to work. So to incentivize organizations to allow employees to work from home by default, if their positions or their designation allows them to work from home, we encourage them to do so. But in the event that the nature of job doesn't allow, then they can go back to work on a staggered working hours. Right? And companies are given 4 full months to complete their deliverables after circuit breaker is lifted. Right? At the moment it's 1st June, and there's no further extension. So it means within the 4 months, employees has to work from home continuously for 1 month. That means 1st June we complete the work from home. Circuit breaker is lifted up. From 2nd June onwards, employees can start working from home until 1st July. If they work continuously for 1 month, for each employee, the company will be paid $2,000, right? And capped at maximum 35 employees at 70,000 per company. All right. So basically, what we're trying to say is that if your organization has employees who can actually work from home, let them work from home from 2nd June all the way to 1st July, or from 2nd July to all the way to 1st August. All right. So you can use this time frame to let them work from home. The intent and the purpose is such that we do not want to see a big group of people going into the community. Right. You are encouraging staggered. All right. That means slowly we will ease them into the workforce rather than one at one shot. Right. What is the eligibility criteria to come on board? Right. All local companies, all right, who are incorporated in Singapore. All right. That means they have a local UEN number. All right. And I say that this work-life grant has been on since 2013 under the work-life grant 1.0. If companies has already obtained the FWA incentive under the previous work-life grant 1.0, which closed on 31st March, then you cannot apply for this grant. Thirdly, companies with existing work-life, that means you could have come on board with the current work-life grant that we are offering that's going to end on 2022, all right, and you think that you have not put up any claims at this moment, you can do a one-time conversion to the COVID-19 grant. All right, I'll share the difference between the current one and the COVID-19 grant later on. And we are only giving out the grants to local employees, Singaporeans, all right, or Singapore PRs, okay, under employed at least on a 12 months employment contract. And next, employees must be in the company's employment during the claim stage. That means you can roll out this particular work from home for 1 month, and during the claim stage, if the employees are no longer in the workforce, then they are not eligible for the claims. Some companies will actually have temporary or casual workers. They are all excluded from these grants. And most importantly, those names that appear in the ACRA, whether it's a company's owners or they are shareholders or they are directors, or sometimes in the ACRA they put them as managers, are excluded from the claim. All right, but sometimes they are in appointment director in the company, but their name don't appear in the ACRA, they are eligible. Sometimes their title are managers, but the name don't appear in the ACRA, they are also eligible for coming on board for this COVID-19 grant. How does this application process works? Okay, submit the application form. Okay, these slides will be shared with you guys. Right, when you click onto this particular link application form, it will direct you to the Excel file. You can complete the entire Excel file through this application form and submit to us to wlg@e2i.com.sg. I just want to highlight to you guys that due to these COVID-19 grant applications, E2I is actually experiencing high volume of applicants coming on board. All right, so it will take some time to process application, all the completed documents. It also doesn't mean that submitting application is a form of approval. We will assess and then we'll let you know whether it's approved or not. Alternatively, you can still go back to the other two program partners, SNAF and SMF, to apply. My advice is that don't apply to all three program partners. It's good that to work with one program partner, then it's easier for the administration flow of putting up your application for approval. Together with the application form, please submit your latest business profile, ACRA. All right, if you're submitting somewhere in May, we are looking at ACRA dated somewhere around January 2020. Don't give us 1 year old ACRA, last year's ACRA, all, because we want to see the recent ACRA the company actually has. Who are the shareholders, who are the directors, who are the secretary, the CEO, or names in the ACRA itself. Application submitted, all right, by any third party such as external consultant who claim to act on behalf of the company will not be accepted. And we as program partners do not endorse any consultants or vendors or their services or products. Okay. And what are the documents for claim? Okay, once you have already put up the application, the program partners will put up your company for WLG's clearance for coming on board for the COVID-19 application. Then the OIC will process the application to put up for approval. And once it's approved, then we will issue a letter of offer. Once a letter of offer is issued to you guys, then you would accept it, and then you start doing your deliverables. That means let your employees to work from home for the continuous 1 month. After that, you submit your documents for claim. So what are the documents needed for this claim disbursement? All right. All companies must adopt the tripartite standard under TAFEP website, which my partner James will share with you what this standard is all about. All right. So one of the requirements is mandatory for employers to go into TAFEP to adopt the flexible work arrangement standards. All right. And once you've adopted it, your name will appear in the TAFEP website or an email confirmation for TAFEP. That will be a document that you need to submit. Companies must adopt the FWA policy, right? And this policy must be communicated to all your employees, right? We need the particular company's flexible work arrangement policy. I think James will be able to share with you also on this later on. And completed claim form and impact evaluation report. These two reports, a template will be given to you upon acceptance of the letter of offer by signing the letter of acceptance. Once you sign it, we will list down all the list of documents companies has to provide together with the template that you need to fill up and send to the program partners. And in the impact evaluation report, you will also see list of employees' name who actually are regular users. Okay, for COVID-19 grant, on set at the application stage, you need to put up the list of employees. Okay, you cannot exceed the number of Singaporeans and PRs currently employed in your organization. In your employment, if you only have 20 Singaporeans and PR, the maximum that you can put up for your grant will be 20 employees. You cannot say I want to take the maximum 70 by putting up 35 employees. So we will work on the number of Singaporeans and PRs company has, and you have to put them in the application form. All right. So these names will be listed in the application form. You have to put out who are the people. So this you have to plan who are going to work from home upfront before putting up the application. All right. We also will look for employment contracts and CPA Form 90 for the last 3 months. All right, from the point of when companies put up the claims. And for both the work from home or in the event they have staggered working hours, there must be a documentation proof to show that there's an agreement between the employers and employee. It can be in the form of an email or in the form of a form that they can have to show that they actually have a disagreement, that employee say, okay, employee A, please go and work from home for the entire month, and employee A say, okay, I'll work from home. This document is a very important document for claims. And for working from home, there'll be you have to create a template saying that in Excel file the days that they have actually worked from home and submit to us also. And for second hours, show us that they have accepted the second working hours that they are coming on board, because we want to see at least 2 hours pending in terms of staggered hours. And let's say, for example, the company official working hours is 9 to 6. We want to see 2 hours working differences. That means 8 to 10 and then 5 to 7, so that you actually allow your employees not to come at the same time to work. All right, you can straight away allow them to stagger their hours, so there's no many people coming to work at the same time, having a safety distancing, and not having many people in the community itself. Okay, earlier in the Q&A, somebody also asked me what's the difference between the current one and the enhanced work-life grant. Let me share with you. The current work-life grant and the enhanced work-life grant, there are differences in terms of the letter of offer that we issue to company for the current one is 2 years. All right, that means when you now apply for the current work-life grant, you will get a letter of offer for 2 years. For the COVID-19 application, if your application is successful, you are given a 4 months letter of offer, and within the 4 months, you must complete your deliverables and at the same time submit your documents for claim. All right. For the current work-life grant, the FWA is initiated by the employees. All right. But for the COVID-19, as I mentioned earlier, it's a mutual agreement between the employee and the employer. All right. That means they mutually agree to come on board for this work from home or staggered working hours. And the type of FWA supported for the COVID one is basically work from home by default or staggered hours. Please take note that when you put up your application, if the destination allows them to work from home and you put them as staggered working hours, you must say why are you allowing a person who can work from home to go on a staggered working hours. All right, because we are supporting companies to work from home as a priority, right? But for the current work-life grant, there are many types of flexible work arrangement like staggered hours, work from home, compressed work week, part-time, job sharing, time banking, all these are allowed. All right. And for the current work-life grant, it's at least 12 times over 6 months. That means you are given a 2 years letter offer. For the first year, they have to at least adopt the flexible work arrangements 12 times over 6 months. That means, let's say they work from home, average will be 2 times a month. Times 6 months is 12 times. It can be more, but the minimum is 12 times. But for the COVID-19 grant, it's a daily adoption for 1 month, right? There cannot be any absenteeism, or they cannot say that I work 135 and 2 and 4 I don't work. No, it's a daily adoption of the working days of the month. All right. I need to highlight to you guys that both the current work-life grant and the COVID-19 are currently running concurrently. All right. And companies are only able to tap on one version of the WLG flexible work incentive. All right. I give you an example now. For example, if the company has only 10 Singaporeans and they want to apply the COVID-19 grant, all right, and they say that within the 4 months to do the deliverables, 10 employees times 2K, 20,000, all right, and the maximum grant is 70,000, all right, and there's still about 50,000 left. Can I come on board for the current work-life grant? The answer will be no. But I will advise, if the workforce size is small and employers are looking at more progressive kind of working life harmony, then they can take up the current work-life grant, because for the first year, they can claim 10 employees to times 2,000, 20,000. On the end of second year, they can claim 10 employees times 2,000. Total grant the company can claim under the current work-life grant will be 40,000. Compare that to the COVID-19 grant, it's only going to be 20,000. So employees decide what is the best mode of application that you want to come on board, and decide whether you will be a COVID-19 or current work-life grant. Okay, there are some frequently asked questions that normally employers will ask. Let me share with you these questions that normally can be addressed to you now. Right? When will the 4 months period kicks in? All right. If the letter of offer is issued on 15 May, for example, let's say today is what? Today is already 15 May. Let's say today I issue a letter of offer to the company. Okay. The 4 months will start from 2nd June, because circuit breaker is lifted on the 1st June, right? So 2nd June all the way to 1st October. But if the letter of offer is issued on 1st July, all right, then the 4 months will start 1st July to 31st October. Okay, we are assuming here that the circuit breaker is lifted on 1st June. All right, if there's an extension of circuit breaker, then the dates will shift accordingly after the circuit breaker is lifted. Next, how long must the employee adopt the work from home, or if the need for staggered hours? Employee must adopt for continuously 1 month work from home or staggered hours, or a combination of both. Okay, so by default, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be 1 month. All right, so if employers can allow the employees to work from home for continuously 1 month, then you can come on board for this grant. Assuming you got 20 employees, and must I put all 20 in immediately after circuit breaker is lifted? Well, you have an option of doing it over 2 months. For example, 15 employees adopt work from home from 2nd June to 1st July. All right, and then another 5 employees work from home from 2nd July to 1st August. So total 20 employees. You put out your claim somewhere in September, because we need a CPF Form 90, because your last day of employee who come on adopt the flexible work arrangements in August the 1st. So we're looking at August, July, and June CPF Form 90. Okay, so claim documents including CPF Form 90 is required to prove that the above employees are still employed by the company, and claim must be submitted by 1st October. Okay, this is the question that I need to address to all you guys. For this one, remember that there's a letter of offer is only valid for 4 months. Can the letter of offer be extended after the end of 4 months? The answer is no. The adoption of FWA, that means the deliverables and the claim documents, must be within the 4 months period. Okay, if you come after the 4 months and ask for extension and appeal, we are not going to allow for any extension and appeal for this such a short time letter of offer is given. One of the claim documents required is the employment contract, which I mentioned earlier. Must we submit for all 35 employment contracts if we are submitting claim for 35 employees? And which 3 months of CPF Form 90 must we submit? Employment contract more than or equal to 20% of the 35 employees, that equate to about 7 employees, employment contract. We are not looking for all 35 employment contracts. Okay. CPF Form 90, if the 1 month adoption ends on 15 August, company has to submit the CPF Form 90 for the months of June, July, and August 2020. So August CPF 90 will be available somewhere in September. So by the time you submit, it will be in September already. When will we get the disbursement and what mode of payment will it be? Upon full submission of completed, okay, I repeat, completed claim documents, disbursement will be made via gyro to company and estimate about 6 to 8 weeks. That's the time that we're looking at. All right. So can companies submit claim for buying laptop, printer, or put in place infrastructure to implement FWA? When the grant is been dispersed to the company, you can actually cover the above expenditure already. All right. You can upfront buy all these things. When the grant is dispersed to you all, if you have met the deliverables and the documents are all intact, correct, then you can use that to cover your above expenditures. I mentioned this earlier. Can they tap on both the current work-life grant and enhanced work-life grant? The answer is no. All right, it's either one. And also, if company has already come on board for the work-life grant flexible work incentive 1.0, they are also not able to come on board for this grant. Of course, remember, when you put up your application, all the 3 program partners will clear with WLG for your company's clearance. They will tell us whether you can come on board or not. Okay, the company with existing work-life grant letter of offer, can they switch? Yes, can, provided no claim submitted and do allow a one-time conversion. And current companies who are in the current work-life grant, we need to write in for a withdrawal before we can put up for the COVID-19 application. So what's next for companies? Basically, submit the application form and ACRA to WLG. I like to reiterate that currently ITUI is facing a lot of applications coming on board. All right, and we will take some time to look at your applications, but you can always refer to SMF or SNF if you want to get through the applications also. We are not stopping companies going to any of the program partners. And once your applications have been approved, OIC will issue the letter of offer, and company must sign the letter of acceptance from the date of LLO within 1 month. When you are actually waiting for the application to be approved, company can start going in to adopt the tripartite standard, which is a requirement by WSG, flexible work arrangements, which my partner James will share with you later on. Once the letter of offer is issued and once the circuit breaker is lifted, all right, employees can adopt the work from home or staggered working hours for continuous 1 month. All right, no break, continuous 1 month. And then submit the following documents within the funding period of 4 months. The flexible work arrangement tripartite standard, email confirmation for TAFEP, or if your name is reflected in the website, we can take a look at it. FWA policy and communication or FWA policy to all employees. Employment contract at least more than or equal to 20% of eligible employees. CPF Form 90, the last 3 months. F5 claim form template will be provided. Impact evaluation report template will be provided, and Excel and sheet for the employees working from home, and mutual agreement between employers and employees, or sign a form or HR system. All right. So when the slides are shared with you, click on the link to access our website. All information that I share with you are available in our website. And any further clarifications, you can email to any of the program partners apart from us. Bear with us, due to high volume, we'll take a longer time to reply to your email too. Thank you very much.
Okay, hi everybody. Good morning. I'm James from TAFEP, which is right on top there on the screen. You can see Tripartite Alliance for Fair and Progressive Employment Practices. This is an organization set up by MOM, Singapore National Employers Federation, and NTUC, right? So it's a tripartite alliance, okay? So today I'm going to talk to you about the tripartite standards. Again, the term tripartite is there. That means these standards have actually been drafted or by these 3 partners, the government, which is mostly MOM, NTUC, and Singapore National Employers Federation. So let me just very quickly explain in one sentence what are tripartite standards. Tripartite standards is actually a way to show what good practices the company has. Okay, good practices, that means not law. Okay, every company, you need to comply with the labor laws, whatever laws there are in Singapore, right? But for good practices, right, there is no law. So what sort of good practices are we talking about? We are talking about things like you have grievance handling procedures, right? If your employees have a grievance, then there's a certain procedure in your company and all that, or flexible work arrangements, or which is the in thing now, yeah. Recruitment practices, or maybe unpaid leave. Your company is so good, when your staff they have a problem at home, the poor wife suffering from a very serious illness, you allow them no pay leave, or even for some companies, they are very age friendly. So for the older workers, like those above 60, the company is very good. They provide very large computer screens, maybe, the filing cabinets, you don't have all these tiny words, on the filing cabinets, bigger, larger words for all the older folks. And even maybe once a year, your company even organizes, for example, medical screening for the staff, free for certain basic screening, and then the rest they have to pay. This sort of thing, So these are very good practices which companies, many companies I know already have. Okay, but there is a problem. Who knows? Nobody knows. Yeah, some of you may be telling your friends, yeah, my company has this good practices, but okay lah. I mean, nobody knows. That's a problem. So this tripartite standards is actually a means for you to actually advertise, right? Show people what sort of company you are. You are a company with certain good practices. So that's why you have these tripartite standards. Okay, there are 8 tripartite standards. Each one represents a particular good practice, right? In a particular area, like grievance handling, flexible work arrangements, and all that. So when you adopt tripartite standards, your company will actually be listed in TAFEP's website. Okay, right there we have a website. There are now about 4,000 over companies, and then it shows what sort of good practices, what sort of tripartite standards you have adopted, right? So is this very useful? It is very useful. This website is very useful because job seekers nowadays, right, before they join a company, they will search the internet for everything, right? What's the financial position of this company, anything bad about the company. Then nowadays, they can even now search about a company, whether they have good practices by searching TAFEP's website. TAFEP's website will show the companies which have good practices. That means companies that have adopted the tripartite standards. Okay, let me show you. This is how our website looks like. Okay, so you have a list of companies on the right. Okay, this is just the page 1. Okay, down here on the left, you actually have the 8 tripartite standards listed. Each one is designated by a specific color. So this is how you read it. Which color here corresponds to this one. So this particular company has adopted these 4 tripartite standards. This company, not bad. Wow, I would want to join this company. They have adopted all 8. Okay, some companies have adopted 1. Doesn't matter. Seriously. Okay, don't worry. If you just adopt 1, doesn't matter. Your future plans will be to adopt further ones. Yeah. So over here, you can actually search for organizations. So if you are joining, for example, a company, okay, maybe DBS, you just type DBS, and then you can find DBS will be listed here, and then the tripartite standards that they have adopted here. So for example, okay, sorry, okay, then I go to this one. So just in a summary, what are the tripartite standards? So just as I mentioned just now, tripartite standards are a series of good employment practices that are important for all employers to implement at their workplaces, right? It's a standard for all employers to have. Okay, nowadays, seriously, I mean, you all know our workforce, okay, sad to say, I'm also part of the workforce, very fussy, right? So when I join a company, I want to make sure that there are good practices in place, right? I know everyone must follow the law, but what about good practices, okay? So it's important to have. Nowadays, our workforce, Singaporeans are like that. They know what's the standard companies should have. Good practices, okay. This is a nationwide initiative from government, NTUC, and SNEF, tripartite partners, okay, supported by TAFEP. TAFEP, my organization, we are just an administrator. So we are administrator for this program. So this one is developed in consideration of reasonable needs and common challenges by both employers and employees, right? Employers, sometimes you have a problem trying to attract people to your companies, right? So you have good practices, but nobody knows, right? The employees also, at least this is an opportunity for them to actually check out the TAFEP's website, how good a company is in terms of good practices. Okay, so stakeholders and job seekers can identify the TS adopters as employers with progressive HR practices. In fact, those who adopt the TS, you can just use the TS logo, which is this one. You can put it on your website also, right? You can advertise this, and even when you are advertising for jobs, you can put this also. Then would-be job applicants will be pretty impressed that your company has some good practices. Okay. So there are 8 tripartite standards at a glance. These are the 8. First, we have 1 for flexible work arrangements, 1 for grievance handling, 1 for recruitment practices, 1 for procurement of services from media freelancers, unpaid leave for unexpected care needs, contracting with self-employed persons, those self-employed persons, age-friendly workplaces, we cater for the older workforce, employment of term contract employees. When you have term contract employees, that means those you recruit for maybe like 3 months or 6 months. So some of these companies, they actually have very good practices. They take them as though they are permanent staff and give them the annual leave, whatever it is, and all that as what they give to their permanent staff. Okay. So yeah, at a glance, actually the 8 tripartite standards, you can divide them into 2 categories. One is for your employees, right, which is just 1 to 6 is catering to your employees. And this 7 and 8 is for self-employed persons, which could be, for example, like video editors you engage, your company engages them, consultants, advisors, financial advisors, those self-employed persons. So if you have this in your workforce, then you will want to try to adopt this too. Because these people, right, the advisors, financial advisors and all that, they would, want to make sure that you actually have good practices in place for them. Okay. So again, a summary: 8 tripartite standards specifies progressive workplace practices that the company practices, and it specifies good workplace practices. It can be verified if employers have implemented them. Can be verified. Okay, what this means is that each tripartite standard, there are certain criteria or specifications that you must have. There are probably like 3 to 7 or 8 criteria which each tripartite standard has, and you must have all those adhered to. You must comply to all of them, and then you can probably say that, yep, I have this adopted the tripartite standards for grievance handling or for flexible work arrangements. Okay, so it can be verified. Okay, you must have all of them, right? But I just want to clarify that although we say can be verified, when you make an application for the tripartite standards, what documents are required to be submitted? Okay, we trust you. You just make sure that you have complied with all the 5 requirements or specifications, and then you just submit the so-called application. It's not even an application, I would say. Right? You just fill up the form, and then within 2 weeks, we'll say, okay, we've put up your company's name on our website, and here's the logo. You can use it as and how you want to, and all that. Right. This point improves your company's branding, right? Right. Self-explanatory. Stakeholders, job seekers will be able to identify your companies as a good employer, right? With progressive HR practices, right? For those who are in HR listening to me now, yeah, I mean, this is the thing you need to go for, okay? Go for the tripartite standards, right? Boost the status of your company up, right? HR people will know what I'm talking about, okay? Employee morale, right, is good for your own employees, because your employees, now they know that, hey, my company has certain good practices. For example, they have adopted the tripartite standards for grievance handling and tripartite standards for flexible work arrangements. That means I'm assured that my company has good practices in these 2 areas, right? Many a time you already have a lot of good practices, but a lot of it is not formalized. A lot of it is very informal. Okay, the worker just comes up to the boss, hey boss, I have a problem, I need to look after my son and all that. Can I have some flexible work arrangements? Then the boss discuss, and that's it. So it's a very ad hoc, right? But actually, when you formalize it, you have SOPs in place, everything, flexible work arrangement policies in place. Then it's very clear to all your workers, your employees, so that morale will actually go up, right? Because they know what good progressive practices there are. Employers who adopt the TS will be recognized on our website, okay? And then, of course, they have the TS mark or the logo, right? Okay, so just to go back again to this, our website. So just now I showed you this website. Say if I'm a job seeker and I'm looking for companies that have flexible work arrangements, because I really want to work for a company that will provide me flexible work arrangements, because, for example, I have my aged father work at home, you know, occasionally I need to look after him and all that. For example, like every day, 4 o'clock, I need to inject him with the insulin thing or whatever it is, right? So I want to work for a company that has flexible work arrangements. So me as a job seeker, what I do is I just go to this flexible work arrangements, put a check here in this box, right? And then you press enter, and our website will list, right, in blue. Flexible work arrangements is in blue, right? All the companies that have flexible work arrangements. So me as a job seeker, I would actually zero in and try to work for, see whether there are job vacancies in these companies, you know, right? Because I know that they have flexible work arrangements, okay? Okay, so now just go into the TSs itself. There are 8 of them. I'll just focus on the flexible work arrangements, the TS for flexible work arrangements, the tripartite standards for flexible work arrangements, okay? But I'll just very quickly skim through everyone. So first one is the employment for third contract employees. You can see that there are 3 boxes here. That means there are 3 criteria, okay? The technical term we use is 3 specifications or 3 criteria, which you must have. Okay, too much of a long story to explain. Let's go to the next one. Next one is flexible work arrangements, TS, right? We actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 criteria, right? 6 criteria you must have. So let me explain in detail. Okay, number 1, a member of the senior management is appointed to champion the FWAs. What does this mean? Senior management get one of your directors, right? Appoint him to be a champion. What does a champion do? A champion will be someone who would follow up on the FWAs in the company, right? So a champion will understand, you know, the needs of, for example, working mothers, right? So a champion maybe for example, he may ask the HR, hey, HR, can you give me a breakdown of like how many young mothers we have, you know? Then maybe HR will say, oh, we have like 30%, they're all young mothers, you know. Then of course the champion may want to propose something to senior management. Hey, we have 30% young mothers. Let's do something for these young mothers. They need to look after their kids and whatever. Let's have some sort of scheme for them, right? So that's what a champion does, right? Next one, employees are offered FWAs. What this means is that once you have decided what sort of FWAs, now when I say you decide, okay, you, the company, you are the boss, you are the HR, you decide what FWAs you want to give to your employees, right? There are so many different types of FWAs, as mentioned by Manu just now, but you can just give one, you can just give 2, right? It really depends on your operation needs. So whatever you have, say you have decided that you're going to have 2 types. One is staggered start times, right? Staggered times, and the other one may be flexi lunchtime hours, right? So, okay, you have 2. So you must offer to all the employees. So you offer to them, say, send an email or letter, and maybe you can even post on your notice board. All employees, please note, our company, with effect from today, will have 2 types of flexible work arrangements. They are 1, flexible lunchtime, and 1, staggered start times, staggered working hours, sorry, yeah, right, 2 types. So you must offer everyone, right? Next point, employees can request for FWAs offered by the company, right? So of course they are informed of the types offered, right? The process, of course, you must have forms devised, right? You see, as I mentioned just now, the TSs are actually for you to start formalizing everything, right? You have proper submission forms to submit and all that, right? Don't make it like previously. I know a lot of companies do have a lot of good practices, but all very informal, right? So the process to request for them and the expectations on responsible use, right? So for example, one of the first FWAs you have is like working from home. So the expectation on responsible use is what, you know? Okay, so employees can request, right? Okay, now I know some of you now getting worried. Wow, now everybody going to request for all the FWAs. Don't worry, okay? Because in the next one, it says the outcome of the request is documented. You see, again, all about documentation, right? Okay, and employees are informed in a timely manner when a request for FWA cannot be granted. So what does this mean? It means that you as the company, you decide whether the employee should be placed on that particular FWA which you requested for, right? So don't worry, control is still in your hands, right? So, but of course now, look at this point. Supervisors explain the reasons for rejection and where possible discuss alternative arrangements. Yeah, a good company will have the supervisors work with the employee to discuss, hey, what is the issue? Why are you applying this for this FWA? Okay, unfortunately, we can't approve for you because you need to be in the shop 8 a.m. every day, okay, to open up the shop. So what's the issue? Is it your son got to send him to school? So you as a supervisor, you know, you need to discuss some alternative arrangements. So some alternative arrangements could be, for example, maybe transfer to another shop, maybe nearer the home or something like that, right? So a good company would discuss with the worker, not just say, no, sorry, get back to work, right? You must discuss with him, right? So, okay, so that's the fourth criteria you must have. The fifth one is about supervisors are trained to objectively evaluate the applications for FWA. Okay, this training is a big word, but don't worry, this training, there's no real training course we are recommending or anything. You as a HR, okay, you may want to just conduct a briefing, 1-2 hour briefing about how they are to evaluate applications, right? Because if you look at the fourth one, right, don't anyhow just turn the poor worker away, right? You tell the supervisor how to evaluate them and all that, and then see what can be done for them. Then employees' performance, right? Because of course, sometimes you may not approve for a particular worker because of his performance. I mean, those are valid reasons, right? Okay, right? So you may want the employee to be here at a specific time, you know, when the supervisor is there so that he can give proper training and instructions, look after this lower performing worker and all that. And compensation and the safety. Safety, especially for those who are working from home. Working from home, you all don't forget that working from home, you need to brief them on safety aspects, right? Like even plugging of the, the power plug and all that, don't overload and all that, okay? Because people are not used to, using the computer and all that, then they overload the power sockets and all that. As one of my colleagues was sharing with me, yeah, 4 persons at home working, all plugging to the same plug, okay? So safety is also necessary. Supervisors are trained to set work expectations, manage and appraise employees on FWAs fairly based on work outcomes. Okay, so again, you conduct a briefing and brief your supervisors on how to set the work expectations, right? For example, if you are giving a flexi lunch time, right? Flexi lunch time, so you set the work expectations. Okay, your lunch time is going to be flexible, but you must at least complete your work, before you go for lunch and all that. You cannot be chit-chatting with your people who have already gone for earlier lunch, this sort of thing. So set work expectations, what is expected for him and all that. So manage and appraise the employees on FWAs fairly based on work outcomes. Okay, because sometimes some supervisors, okay, they see that, this fella, flexible work arrangements, the rest all are not working on flexible work arrangements. So the supervisor not happy, will like, maybe give him a lower grading. Okay, but supervisor must be fair, right? He was given an FWA because of his personal needs, right? Maybe got to bring the kid for school or whatever it is. Okay, so flexible work arrangements, flexible work arrangements, the TS, you just have these 6 criteria. Okay, 6 criteria. Now, actually, there is an implementation guide for flexible work arrangements. I'll send a link to Jackson. Okay, there's an implementation guide on how to implement the TSFWA, right? So there are 3 implementation guides. One is for flexible work arrangements, one is for grievance handling, and the last one is for recruitment practices, right? So do read through them. They were actually developed by SNEF and MOM. So I think SNEF, they will know what employers need. So they developed these 3 implementation guides. Okay, the next one is about, the next TS is about grievance handling. I would like to encourage everyone, especially your HR, to actually try to adopt this tripartite standard of grievance handling. Okay, why? Okay, why? Grievance handling, when employees have a problem, a lot of them do not know who to turn to. So they turn to social media, right? Or they go and grab about it in their social media. Or worse, they will go to MOM, they write to MOM, So I understand for MOM, a lot of the cases seriously could have been settled by the company, right? And if your name turns out in MOM, that means Well, we never know. MOM may actually, MOM they have inspectors, right, going out to inspect companies, right? They have the right, the authority to go to your company, show me all your records, employee records. Okay, MOM, they have a right to, and they do that every day. They actually send teams out to inspect companies' employment records, right? So, of course, you don't want your employee to start to complain to MOM. So why don't you settle all this internally, right? Let your staff know that there are these grievance procedures in place. You just fill up this form, and then within 7 days, HR will get back to you and try to resolve your problem and all that. So there are actually five criteria here. Okay, actually, unfortunately, the COVID situation, right? I understand from my friends in MOM, there are a lot of employees also who have a lot of questions, grievances or so about their companies because never pay this, never pay that, never, getting half pay only and all that. So a lot of communication is not there. So yeah, I mean, I'm just predicting maybe after the COVID, there could be quite a big number of complaints from your employees if you do not have proper grievance handling procedures in place, right? So I would encourage all of you, because of the COVID, try to adopt something like some procedures, to put in place in your companies to handle grievances, right? Don't let your grievance go up to the authorities and then they will call you down. And then after that, your company may be earmarked for inspections, this sort of thing. Yeah. So, okay, so it's understandable. If you're HR, HR people, you all know, I think one of your key tasks would actually be to implement in your company a grievance handling procedure so that your employees can settle the grievances in your company. Okay, I'm not going to go through the slides we sent to you, okay? Sorry, lack of time. Next one, recruitment practice. You see, there are actually 6 criteria to have, right? So yeah, as long as you follow the 6 criteria, you can just easily adopt. Next one is about unpaid leave for unexpected care needs. You see, there are only 3 criteria. If you 1, 2, 3 criteria, right? It's about giving unpaid leave to your staff, right? Like minimum of 2 weeks. Some companies are laughing at this because they say they give unlimited, as long as the family members are really hospitalized, they give unlimited, right? So there are a lot of good companies out there, right? But nobody knows. So adopt the TS so that people know that you have good employment practices. Next one, age-friendly. This one is about caring for the older workers in your companies, like those above 60. So there are actually 7, right? 7 criteria to have, right? Pretty simple to follow. Next one is if you have self-employed persons like media freelancers, there are actually 4 criteria. Actually, it's very much detailed, but I'm just summarize it by these 4, okay? Yeah. Next one is contracting with self-employed persons, 2 criteria. So it's mostly about having a proper contract when you have a self-employed persons. Okay, everything, all these criteria, the specifications can actually be found in TAFEP's website, or you go to MOM's website or SNAP website, you will put a link and it will link back. Then you can see all these criteria listed inside. Okay, so how do you adopt, right? Very simple. Again, you decide for yourself, you do a self-assessment on your current practices versus the specifications, the criteria I showed you just now, right? Okay, which one are you lacking in? So just improve it, right? Come up and place certain SOPs or procedures, or nominate your champion or whatever it is, right? Officially give him a letter, right? Say nominate him for 1-2 years, okay? Then you adopt online, right? You go to this TAFEP's webpage, adopt the tripartite standards. Then you will get recognized in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and then we'll send you the logo dimensions. You can actually use it on your website. See, this is how it actually looks like, right? So if you go onto our online application form, you just tick whichever you want to adopt. Full name of company, UEN, very important, right? Because we actually check with ECRA. If the number is wrong, then we have to reject. Then we have to call you up and get the correct number, okay? So it's very, after this, there's still some more fields like name of contact person and email for us to contact, and that's it. No documents required to be submitted. We trust you, okay? You decide whether you can actually adopt and be proud of it and advertise in our website and advertise in your website with the logo and all that. You decide, okay? So yeah, so within, so currently we have, okay, sorry, actually this should be 4,200. Okay, we have actually 4,200 TS adopters. Okay, quite a lot of them, to be very frank, I want to be very frank, is that a lot of them have started to adopt the TS for FWA, because now companies have realized that, hey, actually we can get our staff to work from home. Okay, I have a friend working in a Japanese multinational company. Past 2 years, she was telling me cannot get the boss to agree to flexible work arrangements. The boss doesn't agree. But now the boss finds that after 1 month, hey, actually, we can actually work from home, and we can save half the rental. So, I mean, some this company is realizing that now, hey, actually, we can work from home because all of them are actually desk bound. They don't need to go out or whatever it is. Yeah, so it's a new way of working, and yeah, the added thing is they actually save half of their rental. They're going to save, like, I mean, soon half of their rental. They don't need to rent a big office. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so if you want to adopt, just go in yourself, adopt, and that's it. No documents required. Now, one question: would there be any inspections by TAFEP? No, because this is not law. This is really a process for you to actually improve, show people what are the practices you have in place. Okay, for you to actually showcase what a good company you are. So you can visit the TAFEP website there, or you can email us, right? Now, don't be shy. If you have any questions, you email to this thing and just say, please call me, I have a question. Don't have to write long story, because I know it's very tough to write a long story explaining a situation. You just say, please call me back at this number and I have a few questions. Okay, then me and my colleagues will actually call you back. Okay. Right, TAFEP's website, you do have, as I mentioned just now, implementation guides on this flexible work rate. How do you actually implement it? It's only about a 6-7 page document, right? Very simple, you just read through it, right? We have some research publications, case studies on FWA, a lot of articles on FWA, okay? Right, just now Mano mentioned about the FWA policy, which everyone must submit to E2I. FWA policy, okay, if you go into the internet, if you Google FWA policy, you can actually find a lot of American companies. They actually share a lot of their procedures and all that. I don't think you can find Singapore companies, but good enough, a lot of these American companies and all that, foreign companies, they actually share. So FWA policies is very simple. It states, like, for example, a statement from management, solid statement that we, the management, support, for example, friendly workplace practices. Employees are encouraged to apply for FWAs. See, a very strong statement from the management. So the workers in your company, they are assured that, hey, this is a great management and they really understand us, our family needs and all that, right? Then maybe your policy can even have some reassurance that all your supervisors will do the utmost best to, like maybe work with you to cater to your work-life needs, right? So you see, again, assuring your employees about your stand on FWAs, right? Very pro work-life sort of company and management. And then after that, you can actually put in all your application procedures, right? Application forms, how if you want to go for FWAs, what's the form to apply for and all that. Okay, so that's all. Just to show you, I'll send you all the links later through Jackson, so you can like click here, click there, and there's some resources and all that on TAFEP's website, right? So okay, I think that's all. So thank you and stay safe, everyone.
So first, I think the one participant asked, what is an example of employee working staggered hours for 1 month? So Mano, would you like to answer this?
Okay, as I said in my slides earlier, it's basically to work from home is a default thing, because that's what we're looking at. And in the application form itself, they will show us upfront who are the employees coming on board for the flexible work arrangement for the COVID-19. And the job designation will be shown in the application form. So if the job designation allows them to work from home, by all means, employers must encourage them to work from home. But in the event they cannot, but need to go back to office to do certain things, staggered working hours means don't go at the same time as your usual working hours. Give a 2 hours pending. Let's say 9 to 6 is their working hours, right? You stagger the working hours to start at 8 o'clock or 8:30 or 9:30 or 10 o'clock. And then they can leave at 5, 5:30, or 6:30 or 7. So this is to minimize contacts coming together at one go. You spread out your working hours that people go at different time or working time at the organization.
Okay, so another question here. Hold on, let me pick the question. Okay, actually just now got one participant asked, but I think the answer is how to, I mean, for both of you, so for E2I perspective is like how company prove that they are really adopting FWA. Then for TAFEP itself, like James just now shared that there's no law requirement, no eligibility or what. I mean, not very strict because it's not a law for FWA, but for E2I side is a grant information. So the question here is, I think it's also serve as a very good note and good information for the tauke and bosses and employers out there. So what if their employee find out, okay, my company is TAFEP recognized, and I got then my company got FWA grant, but I don't think, I mean, maybe the employee feel that they are not actually practicing it. What is the boss should be? What the boss should do to avoid this? Maybe James, you can share that for TAFEP side. What need to be take note on this?
Okay, should there be any complaints from the employee? First of all, I want to be frank that this is not a law. Okay, so there's no action that can be taken by you by MOM against you, right? But what we will do if there is a complaint, we will actually call the company and just try to work with the company, you know. So don't be afraid because, okay, so far we only had, in the past 3 years, only 2 complaints and both of them are not substantiated. But I mean, if there happens to be any, we will just work with the company. And then if there's something that's lacking, so we'll advise the company what to do lah. Okay, but if of course the company is unable to comply with that particular specifications, that criteria, just that one line, one of them, then what we'll do is we will tell the company, hey, okay, I tell you what, boss, we will just remove your company name from the website first, okay? Because technically speaking, you haven't really complied with all, you only complied with 4. The 5th one, you didn't comply. So we will remove your name, and then when you are ready, boss, come and tell us, right? Just tell us, and we'll reinstate your name onto the website. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so Mano, how about E2I, like the FWA grant, I mean the work-life balance grant, no matter it's an enhanced one or normal one. So how the employer make sure that they are comply with it, because it's a government money, so that their employee, I mean, we don't want the case that when the employer have the money, but employee found that actually is not practicing. So what is the advice to the company that to avoid this kind of situation?
So as one of the documents they need to submit is the mutual agreement between the employer and the employee. It can be in the form of a described form designed by the company, or in the form of email that the employer inform employee to go on flexible work arrangement and employee support it. And in the claim form, there's a claim form, the template will be provided by the program partners. In the template, it shows the employee's name, contact details, and also they have signed the form that they have adopted this flexible work arrangement. All right. So employees cannot falsify this information because employee is going to sign the documents. So that is the insurance. And on top of that, if we find that something is wrong, the program partners can always call the employees for phone audit. Right. So these are the measurements that we have in place that employees actually adhere to the correct flexible work arrangement with the partners.
Okay, so I think the core, the essential and the core idea of the TAFEP recognition and the E2I, the work-life grants here, is to help the employer to better retain their worker and also to find the best talents to fit to their company needs. So I mean, our stand here is also, please don't abuse it and anyhow use it. Okay, so
just give me a minute. I just want to highlight that if we find out that after the disbursement of the grant and find out that the employer actually honestly did not practice this flexible work arrangement, right? The program partners has the right to claw back the money. Okay, but you want to go to the extent for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Understand. So make sure all the grant are be use it correctly and genuinely and honestly.
Yes.
So thank you, Mano. So the next question about for James is that I think this is a very interesting question. So one attendees asked, where have such TAFEP practice training? So for company want to adopt TAFEP, like want to get a TAFEP recognition, like different tier like the older, I mean the age friendly, all this.
Okay.
Any, I mean, maybe the boss don't know how to, I want to do this, but I don't know where to start. Any advice?
Yeah, okay. I'm not a HR consultant that charges, but I know that there are quite a number of HR consultants who are out there who actually can help your companies. But I'm not recommending they go to them because seriously, there's a lot of material on the internet, seriously, there is a lot. I myself have not even read everything, but very interesting. what are the pros and cons. But although they're all from the mostly overseas countries, like the US companies and all that, but there's a lot of material. But also go through our TAFEP website. And then for your information, flexible work arrangements, there is a video on the ULEAP, which is the NTUC training platform, a training video on flexible work arrangements. Okay, ULEAP platform, right? You need to go in there, key in your IC number, and then you can just log on to this video. It actually teaches you about implementing flexible work arrangements. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And then actually TAFEP, we actually have regular 2 or 3 times a month tripartite standards clinics on flexible work arrangements, grievance handling, and recruitment practices. Okay, unfortunately, this COVID thing, we have to stop it. We are working on it, having an online session. Okay, yeah, not sure, maybe next month we're having. Then recently, we actually produced a grievance handling video, which is 95% completed, which we will actually post on the TAFEP website now. So yeah, I would encourage you to actually go through the internet materials and even TAFEP's website for resources. You go into the tab for resources, and there are some reading materials there. Okay, but for flexible work arrangements, go into the ULEAP one, the NTUC learning platform, ULEAP, ULEAP, ULEAP. You go inside there, key in your IC number very fast, and then you just click on flexible work arrangements video, and you can actually learn about that there.
Okay, thank you.
Jackson, can I address some of the questions, the common questions they're asking? Okay,
Can.
if they during the continuous 1 month work from home, they apply leave or on MC, can they claim? Okay, can, provided they make up the annual leave and MC in the following month. All right. So if the month they are supposed to work for 22 days or 24 days, they only work for 18 days. All right, or 20 days, they have to make up the remaining days of the following month. All right. Secondly, they also ask, can my staff who work from home can go and visit customers for sales visit? Sales staff are not allowed to come on board for this grant. They're not allowed, all right, because they are going out of the office. All right. They always ask about this BCP plan, team A and team B. All right. If your team A is at work from home and your team B is staggered hours, then the following week they change, then it's allowed, but provided you have to justify why that the team has to go on staggered working hours. In our application form, if they select staggered working hours and not work from home, they have to read a reason why they are actually staggering their working hours and not working from home. One of the questions they asked was MCST. We are looking at companies who have a UEN number, right, or ROS society, right, and MCST. I'm not sure whether they have UEN number or not. If they have, they can come on board. Okay, some more further questions on common question: can work from home staff go back to office once a week? Yes, can, but provided they are on staggered working hours. All right. Need to adopt 2 years in order to qualify? No, for enhanced work-life grant, they only have to adopt the flexible work arrangement tripartite standard. No need the others, but strongly encourage, if you think that it's the deep need for your company to adopt the other standards, by all means do so, because it's only a self-declaration. What is the minimum number of SPs and Singaporeans must come aboard for application? There's no minimum number, at least one, but we want to see that more people can actually work from home when they want to apply for a grant. How to prove, already mentioned that earlier. Work from home is a FWA. Yes, it is a work from home. When is the submission for current work-life grant? Not the enhanced one. Current work-life grant is an ongoing grant at the moment, so you can submit anytime the application form. All right. Please drop us an email or to any of the program partners that if you are interested in the current work-life grant, because the application form is different from the COVID-19 grant, because the influx of applications are coming for the COVID-19. So in our website, we put in our enhanced work-life grant application form, not the current work-life grant. So if you're interested in the current work-life grant, please request for the application form that through the WLG email we can send to you. Okay, do part-timers employees with no CPF contributions qualify? No. All part-time employments must have a contract, must have CPF contributions before they can qualify. Foreign workers not considered for these grants, only Singaporeans and PRs. Related entities, okay, if one employee in this related entity and working in another related entity, You only can claim for one particular employee. Same employee cannot claim for twice. Okay, Ken, staggered hours, official working hours 9 to 6. I already repeated this many times. Your staggered hours can start as early as 7 also can, no problem. The 2-hour banding is from 8 to 10 and 5 to 7. But if you think that I want to have to start from 7 and end at 3, then second team starts at 10 o'clock and at 5 o'clock also can. These are also staggered because the intent of the COVID-19 grant is to make sure that we do not all go to the work at the same time. Okay. Okay, minimum number same. Freelance, no, not allowed. All right.
Okay, I think Mano, here there's a lot. I think also we seek all participant understanding. Now we are looking at more than 150 questions being asked. So many. Thank you for your support, and we understand, and we also thank you for your kind support towards the work-life grants itself. So we're also very encouraged to see, very pleased to see so many employers are keen to take on this. So I think some of very technical question or repeated question, we'll try to compile them. We'll send to you. Maybe we'll send a slide to you guys. We can have it in an Excel sheet or what, and we can try to address as much as we can. I think so all participants, please bear with us. We'll try to send the slides and the material and all these Q&A to you guys as fast as possible, but give us maybe until next Monday, okay? So we'll try to compile and send to you over. So I think another interesting question here, sorry to interrupt, because I think we have only maybe 10 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes left.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so I think some of our very technical one we will through email to answer them.
Sure.
Okay, so over to James. So there's one participant asked, what is the difference between tripartite standard and employee pledge? We have done the pledge, but not have adopt.
Okay.
Yeah, do we need to adopt before application?
Yeah, okay, sorry. The pledge is actually a very basic pledge by the company to adopt good employment practices. It's just a pledge, that my company, probably your boss has actually signed that pledge, that we pledge to have good employment and fair employment practices. It's just a pledge. So it's just a mindset, of the company boss. He wants to do good for the staff, have fair, good, progressive practices. Just a pledge. But now the tripartite standard goes one step higher, okay, because it actually requires you to now have 3, 4, or 5, or 6 criteria. You must have all of these criteria. So for all of you, I just would like to urge you to actually adopt the tripartite standards, because seriously, you cannot be doing things all the past 20 years, very informal, approve things informally, no application form also, let's put in place certain structures, right? So as you know, this COVID situation now, a lot of people are getting more IT savvy, okay, right? So which is a good thing, right? Singapore has to go up that notch. So now people will now want to have a lot of things in place and all that, right? So even your application forms, or you can even put it online and all that, right? Make everything formal. So your HR standards in your company will go up one notch. Okay, so let's forget about all these informal practices and all that over the years. Let's do it formal and then have a good HR system in place.
Okay, thank you, James. So back to you, Mano. So
sure.
I think for Singapore Chinese Chamber here, we are the association registered with Registry of Society. So quite a number of our participants today here are also from the TAC, the Trade Association, and chambers, like those other TAs, So they are asking, is association registered with Registry of Societies eligible to apply for work-life grant?
Yes, give us the ROS to us and list of your members in the ROS. Then we will look through that and then put up the application accordingly.
Understand. So as long as you are employer, you are paying salary to the correct staff.
Yeah, correct. Yes,
okay.
Correct.
Can. So let me see, because okay, I think there's quite a number of technical questions, particular to either the FWA or the TAFEP side. So I think we will try to address this through email to you guys, because I think that time is almost up. So maybe
Jackson, just interruption. If you send the slides to them, most of my questions that they have been asked are addressed in the slides.
Yes.
Because I got a Q&A in the slides. Maybe if they read through the slides, they have a better idea. The answers are can answer to the slides.
Yes. So all employers, maybe HR executive and HR manager, don't worry. So actually just now, both our speaker slide cover quite a lot for your answers. But if you have any ambiguous thing or you're not very sure, feel free to anytime send an email to the email address in their slide. I'll send to you guys the slides latest by Monday. Okay. So maybe James and Mano, you have any last comment and last
Okay.
advice you want to give the employers? Maybe Mano?
Okay. I just want to tell employers that, we are in a very difficult situation now, right? The government is trying to see how we can actually leave the circuit breaker. We've not at one go, but continuously try to let the workforce go into the process. As much as we want our Singapore situation to be improved, this grant actually enables them to, support them in this difficult time. So if you can allow your employees to continue working from home, please encourage to do so. All right. As a E2I partner with WSG, we are actually flooded with a lot of applications too, right? But we also do not want to hold you on to these applications by coming back to you late. We also have other two program partners, SNAF and SMF. Companies can approach them also. The criteria that I mentioned doesn't differ much from what the other two program partners manage also. I wish all our employers to come on board and be safe and take care. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mano, for your good, kind words and kind advice. James, any last comment and advice to the employers and employees?
Oh yeah. So yeah, as Mano said, this has changed a lot of that. COVID has changed a lot of the way we actually work. So again, try to relook into your processes. Now is the time to relook because people are working from home. Everything has to be through the the laptop, right? Even applying for whatever flexible work arrangements, or if they have a grievance, all has to be through the laptop also in that sense. So yeah, try to relook into your processes, put it all in black and white because this is the way we should be going to right? We have to go up one notch in our HR practices. Okay, so with that, just want to wish you all a very safe next few months, right? Hopefully we get through all this and invite you again if you have any queries. Please write to the just I gave you all the link, right? Just write there. Please call me back, and then my colleagues. I have two colleagues working on this, so they will actually call you back when they can. We have a lot of inquiries actually, so we'll try to entertain you as soon as possible. But we will definitely get back to you.